Hi, this is Dan from onlinebasscourses.com. Hope you're doing really well. Now, this is the first of a multi-part series I'm doing on how to create and write your own bass lines. So if you haven't already, be sure to click that subscribe button below for the other lessons and loads of other weekly lessons on all things bass. So for today's video, I'm going to show you a pop and a reggae line, which are pretty similar, but we're going to be doing different things in order to make them sound sort of stylistically correct, if you like. To keep things relatively simple, what I've decided to do is to write all these chord progressions out in the key of G. So all that means is that we've got a scale, G major, and we've got 7 different chords that come from that scale. So we've got G, A minor, B minor, C, D, E minor, and F sharp diminished. And sometimes they're numbered in this way. It's kind of like the Nashville number system. That's a really, really important concept to understand. Now, bass lines will be, and songs will be in all kinds of different keys, but just for these examples, I'm just going to stick to this. So it's going to be the triads, arpeggios, root notes, all based around this, and I'll explain everything as I go. So let's go straight into it. So we've got this chord progression here. We've got G, D, E minor, C, and I've got an 85 beat per minute drum beat, pretty slow. So I wrote the chord progressions, but I haven't really written the bass line, apart from the basic idea. If you listen to the kick drum, it's going duh, ba-bum, bum, ba-bum, and that's the So Lonely rip-off. It does something very similar to that. And that's a good trick, is to listen to the drum beat and listen to the kick drum, and often bass lines will kind of stick and marry up to that bass drum. Everything I'm saying, you can break every single rule, and this is the thing. This is why you need to listen to as many different lines as you can to realize that you can do anything. But in this instance here, I was just playing root notes. So you've got those chords there. I was just playing literally the G, the D, the E, and the C in different locations. It doesn't even matter, but sticking roughly to that kick drum. Then I embellished a little. That's really, really simple. You can connect up the chords a little bit by using notes in the scale. So something like this. That's the G major scale. That's the key that we're in. So if I shout out the finger numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, I'm starting second finger on the 3rd fret of the E string, and I'm just going 2, 4 on that string. And then 1, 2, 4 on the A string. It's frets 2, 3, and 5. And then fingers 1, 3, 4. Really, really simple. Just playing root notes, connecting them up by using the scale. So this is one example of why I think you should know your scales, because chords come from scales. Triads, arpeggios, root notes, all these things that you'll be playing. And also, if I'm saying those words, we can explain those words by knowing a scale. You know, music theory is quite easily understood by really just learning a scale. And you can make up really cool bass lines. So what I'm doing there, basically sticking to the kick drum. Now I'm going to move on to exactly the same chord progression, exactly the same BPM, beats per minute, but I'm going to move on to reggae. So again, must stress that I'm not saying this is how you make up a reggae bass line, because you need to dive really deeply into all of that stuff and listen to loads of reggae bass lines to hear what's going on. But just very basically, I can explain that I want to get a different tone here. So I'm going to be using palm muting. I'll explain that in a second. I'll just put the drum beat on and play that. But I'm going to be playing palm muting and triads. So let's have a listen to what that sounds like. If you listen to the reggae bass players and the tone that they're creating, it sounds quite deep and subby. So you can do that by just putting your palm just by the bridge, the sort of fat side of your palm there, like a karate chop, just here. And you instantly get that sort of slightly fatter more bassy kind of tone. So that's what I'm doing there. And just instead of playing root notes, you've got a G major triad over the G, same shape on the 5th fret of the A string, the D. Learn your triad shapes. I've got another video that shows you the E minor one, and then you've got C. So the G, D and C are all major chords. The triad is exactly the same shape. The E minor triad is exactly the same apart from the minor third, which is 1 fret different. So you'll be playing major triads, minor triads all the time. So you'll only have to learn, well, I was about to say 2 shapes, but there are more shapes to learn for each triad. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. So all I was doing there, I was just going from the root to the 3rd there on the G and on the D. There I was using the whole triad. And any kind of fill or anything like that, it's just, this is another kind of secret weapon of the bass player, is just using the G major pentatonic. Remember, we're in the key of G major, so anything G major pentatonic is going to sound really cool. This is the G major pentatonic scale. So starting on the 2nd finger, 3rd fret E string, I'm going 2, 4, 1, 4, 1, 4, 1, 3. Those are the finger numbers. Fret 3, 5, and then 2, 5, 2, 5, and then 1, 4. So if you fancy doing anything, any fills somewhere in this bass line, and a really good place to put fills, well, 2 things really. You listen for the singer, the drummer doing anything. If they're doing fills, you lay off because you don't want to, it's like talking over someone. You don't really want to do that. But a good place is kind of at the end of a phrase, like every 4 bars is quite a good place to do a fill. Just round down that major pentatonic scale. It sounds really good. The danger is overplaying if you've got all this information, so it's really, really important that you stick to a groove and that you create really nice hooked melodic parts that don't get in the way of anything. Now in this video and in the other ones I'll almost certainly overplay just to demonstrate a point really, but that's exactly why you need to listen to your favourite songs and the greatest bands, the greatest bass players ever, and you'll hear the best bass lines on those. So yeah, for the reggae, I was using triads, a little bit of the major pentatonic, and for the pop, I was just sticking to root notes, but using notes from the scale to connect up the chord notes, the root notes, and that was appropriate for this style. I've got funk, hip hop, rock, jazz, and a 12/8 drum beat to come, and I'm going to show you bass lines based on that. So if you haven't subscribed, be sure to, and thanks for watching.